Oh yeah.
Good morning, everybody. And if you're watching this at a time, well, I guess it's a good morning somewhere, everywhere, all the time. Uh, but we're recording this live at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just reached out to Broseph Smith last night and I said, hey, you want to catch up with this stuff live on air tomorrow morning? Do you want to wake up the butt crack of dawn on the West Coast and then meet me on the
Yeah.
East Coast?
Oh yeah.
Uh,
And I said, yes, definitely, because I was gonna wake up early anyways to start getting shit done. So here
nice.
we are.
Yes. So we got him up early. So anytime he's here, make sure you comment. Thank you, because I mean, unless we're doing it in the afternoon, then it's his responsibility to be here. But in the morning, this is pretty intense. So once again, my name is Dave Wright. You are at the Wright Ideas YouTube channel, where myself and Broseph Smith discuss different ways that we can monetize our lives, whether that be making the transition from a W-2 to a 1099 job, where we, do side hustles and gigs, to trying to make a full-time income online with strategies and stuff. Uh, my name is David Wright. You might know me. If it's your first time here, I used to do this as an Instacart channel, basically in side hustles. I'm going to bring that back. I currently do some Amazon FBA and medical courier work, and I'm switching towards a TikTok shop. So that's my goals right now. And I'm going to introduce Broseph, and he can introduce himself a little bit.
It's me, Broseph Smith. Again, that's obviously not my real name, but it is very funny when people think it is. But yeah, recently, I guess not so recently now, about a month or so ago, quit my job and have since been starting to do eBay, DoorDash, and venturing again with Dave into the TikTok realm. So yeah, kind of recently had a few what do you call it? I Dave asked me yesterday, hey, you want to catch up? And I said, yeah. Specifically, I was thinking about, you know, I had a few lessons I've learned in the past week or so, and maybe not even things that I've learned in particular, but things that I guess I have kept or have learned to keep my eye a little closer on. So
Nice.
especially in this independent world. So
Yeah, can I let me look here. Oh, can I share? So, do you mind if I share the text message that you sent me
yeah,
yesterday
for
about?
sure.
So I asked Broseph, I said, hey, you want to go live tomorrow because of the snowstorm? I don't have a morning route. I'm going to be doing emergency stuff in the snow. So I'm on call right now, but I have a hard out at 10 because I got to go over to the pharmacy either way for something else. But anyways, and he said, yeah, sure. So here's some things he was thinking about. Number one, he was thinking about sourcing, reselling stuff from local versus corporate. So we'll get into what that means, but basically he did estate sales, and then he also did like thrift stores, Goodwill, and stuff like that. Two is the saturation of the main delivery app market, looking and how the areas are different. He went to go sign up for some different side hustles and stuff, and some of them were already filled in his area. Other ones weren't, or they were filled, but they let you sign up anyways, and so the pay is extremely competitive to the point where you're trying to decide whether this is even worth it for me. Three, talking about recognizing the value when reselling. So just the stuff he's learned, the thing. So the value would be like how to pick out good items in the store that he went over. So those are some topics that we're going to go over today. And then I wanted to discuss some stuff, if we have time, about mindset and philosophy of this, as I usually do, because I had some shower thoughts this morning, and I had some thoughts with Broseph last night that I shared about how we can delegate stuff better to utilize AI in the internet. Um, so why don't we get into it with local versus corporate selling and go over what you experienced over the past, what, is it 3 weeks now?
Yeah, about excuse me. Throat's not doing well this morning, but about about 3 weeks or so of reselling and or well, attempting to resell and sourcing from various places. So uh you know starting off, obviously, like kind of like anyone who thinks about, oh, how do I resell? You think, all right, let me go to the thrift store and buy items that may be a little more valuable than what they're selling them for, and then try to sell them myself. Well, when I think the thrift store, and I think as most people think when they think the thrift store, they think of Goodwill or, the local corporate one around here is, now I guess not so much local, but regional, is the Arc. And I know like there's like Savers, you got
Yes, on the
Salvation
East,
Army,
yeah,
Habitat for
in
Humanity.
the East Coast, we have Savers, Goodwill, and the Salvation Army, and then independents. The rest are like independents, but they're more like they call themselves vintage shops now because they've honed in on the stuff.
Yeah. And and yeah, there's a lot of, yeah, some vintage and just antique shops as well that sell, vintage clothes. So obviously those were the kind of first places I went to, kind of looking around. I had some mild success. I've uh obviously spent some money there so far and sourced a bunch of stuff from there, from the Arc, from Goodwill, but and some antique shops. But and I've had some good finds. What I found there is that, you know, you buy things for about, roughly now, shirts maybe around $5 to $6, $7, $8, up to 10 or 12, depending on, how nice the Goodwill thinks it is. And then you have you know, obviously jackets are far more expensive, up in the, 40, $50 range or so. And sometimes they misplace a jacket on the shirt rack. And those are, and then there's like some unique finds. Like I found a Jordan jacket for priced at $10. Obviously, someone who didn't know who Michael Jordan was priced that. And
Yeah.
so otherwise they would have priced it a lot higher. I was like, sweet, snag, immediately sold for, like I don't know. But what this is leading to is I found a couple other thrift stores around here. One is called Gone for Good, and then the other one is Second Time Around. Both of them offer incredible deals. At the Gone for Good place, the guy's like, yeah, if it's just, I side note, it's just like the guy's place in a warehouse where people are like, his boys are constantly unloading box trucks. So I think, I think it's just his business, which is dope. But yeah, he's like, if anything doesn't have a price tag, just give me an offer, I'll give you an offer, whatever. I got a big pile of, not a big pile, but I don't know, roughly around a dozen items for about $12.
Yeah.
And I was like, sweet, awesome. Then the other place, this other thrift store, Second Time Around, clothes, every single item is $1. Shoes are $2. And then there's some other items that are priced, and then jackets are also independently priced. But even the jackets are significantly lower than market value. I didn't buy any of the jackets, but the wife and I bought a ton of clothes there for $1. A lot of Talbot jackets. I got like, one of those old fashioned Mary Kay jackets. A bunch of women's clothes basically, but and full pantsuits for $2 because those are two pieces of clothes. So, that's more expensive. Yeah, but and so as let's look at this here. Yeah,
Sorry,
local
I didn't
versus
mean to
corporate
distract
reselling.
you. I had done some brainstorming
Yeah.
before the show, back and forth with ChatGPT, and I kind of fed it I had a conversation back and forth, and then I kind of created some structure for the show here, some questions I could remember. But I know that you're doing estate sales.
Yes, estate sales, and I will let me, if you don't mind, comment on estate sales real quick.
Yeah.
Even that, there's a divide between corporate and local, because there are some estate sales that are run by companies, and those ones, especially the bigger companies, the more experienced companies, one thing I do is I look up how long the company's been in business. But the more experienced ones have obviously more experience with not only identifying value in objects, which we'll talk about later, and objects to resell. So they price them accordingly, but they also have, higher overhead as well. So, whereas smaller companies, people just starting out, more likely to make deals with you and more likely to also, kind of, I also found just by chance, kind of independently pursue networking. Like these ladies that basically run this, I forgot what the name of their little company is, but they run a smaller one. They got a ton of great deals on an estate sale, or you're at an estate sale. It's just the two of them, and they gave me their card. Just, hey, here you go. You want to get notified ahead of time about things. Let's get your name down on the list. And list was just a notebook. It wasn't like even a Google. I was like, awesome, old fashioned.
So I used to do flipping when I first started going into, and this is a couple of years back before it was heavily saturated. But over time, I did find, like in Indian saying right here, that Goodwill, their new strategy just conflicts with resellers. Even the Salvation Army and them have kind of gotten savvy in the fact that they scan stuff and then they pull the popular stuff and put it like behind a cage now, and the prices are almost like what we would be reselling them for. So it's hard to find whatever. So that to me is the corporate aspect of it.
Yeah, I never go to Goodwill anymore. Specifically,
the middle ground for me would be like Facebook Marketplace, because people are still seeing what the competition is selling for, but it is, you're buying from an individual that you could maybe negotiate back and forth with. But I do think that there's a whole group of people, like you were saying, with these little old ladies that will to network and trade back and forth. One example, I was just thinking, like being out in the real world of just business savvy. I'm at this pharmacy almost every day picking up the orders, and by the dumpster, there's all these pallets stacked up that they're throwing away. And I watch them carry it all out. And I'm friends with the manager at the pharmacy, because I'm the number one courier there. Not that I'm like, there isn't many couriers. I would say I'm not number one, like it's a contest. Number one, like I'm the first that they call. So anyways, wasn't trying to be bragging. Anyways, I just was saying to him, hey, you have these pallets here all the time. Do you pay to get those removed? Who takes them? What's going on with them? And he's like, yeah, we pay to get them removed. And I said, I'm kind of busy right now, but like, instead of paying, would you, to get them removed, can I take them for free once a week? And he's like, I don't see why not. He's like, I would have to ask a couple people, but I think they'd be, rather than pay, you could take them for free. And I was like, yeah, but I need to check a couple things, because I used to do this a while ago.
Yeah.
So then this morning, when I get off the phone, I have to call back, but their website says yes. I called this place nearby that buys pallets. And I said, hey, you still buy wooden pallets? And they said, yeah, good ones we pay $7 for. Bottom end ones we pay $4 for. We don't take plastic or whatever. I said, okay, perfect. I might have some pallets. I used to do this back in the day, blah, blah, blah. So just networking with people, like talking, like ma and pa, like the actual person that you're shaking
person
their
to
hand,
person,
not the whatever. They get rid of about 150 pallets a week at the pharmacy that I work at, from all the food and stuff coming in.
Yeah.
And even if I got the bottom end of that at $4 a piece, that's an extra $600 a week. I would just have to rent a box truck, which would cost me a couple bucks, stack the good pallets in there, and then just drive them to the place. They unload them as long as they're stacked properly, and they buy them from you. And I was like, and if that were to work, I'll just go across the street to the other pharmacy I work for and say, hey, I'm removing the pallets from the pharmacy across the street. I'm doing it anyways, and I work for you guys. Do you want me to remove your pallets too? It doesn't cost you anything. And if they add another 150, now it's an extra $1,200 a week. I don't know if I'm going to do this, but anyways, the point was, when you're in a business mindset and adding community value,
Yeah.
you're not looking at when you see those pallets, your mind's like, they disappear, they come and they go places. Somebody's getting paid or doing that. Like, how does
Yeah.
that work? And then you talk to some. So I know it's a little off topic, but now that you've switched from a W-2 to a 1099, you're kind of recognizing that everywhere you go is an opportunity to
Yes.
increase your business by talking to somebody that you already have a relationship with, maybe.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And and not only that, but I mean, I'm not sure if I had mentioned this the other week, but another estate sale that I'd gone to was for a guy who was a coin guy. And so I guess his, daughters
Yeah.
offered to point me in the direction of the, different numismatics, organizations, connections, et cetera. And I'm like, holy cow, that's, yeah, that's exactly the thing I've been getting into. And so, but again, uh, making those and then allowing yourself to, like you said, be in that business mindset of creating opportunities for yourself where, you know, where there weren't before,
Yeah.
that's again, it's funny. Louis J. Gomez, he made some status yesterday kind of in that spirit. And, as he's like, as a businessman, you're never turned off,
Yeah.
and I was like, that's very funny. No, I'm understanding a lot more of how, I get the Louis J mindset, but, specifically the mindset of, being in sales and business and, you know, or, I say that as someone who has a, eBay page with $200 worth of sales, but,
Yeah, but it really just is the mindset change. So when people are kind of like miserable at a job, right? And they're there and they've pretty much said, okay, I'm going to hand over all the responsibility of my paycheck to this system that I'm part of. And it's not that it's bad, you know what I mean? It gives them time to say, look, this guy's taking care of my paycheck if I do X, Y, and Z. And so hopefully you have a job that at 9 o'clock you can shut your brain off. And at 5 p.m., I mean, you shut your brain off. And at 5:15, you're in family mode and relaxed and not worried. When you're owner of that business, for me, and I'm used to it, and I've dated people that aren't used to it. From the second I wake up to the second I go to bed, my mind is like, how do we do this? What's the income? I get like this morning, I woke up. What were my Amazon sales? What needs to be repurchased for Amazon? What's the courier routes today? What's the storm? Uh, and then all sorts of other stuff comes up. I had to go onto my crypto and move some crypto around. And then the pharmacy called me, said, the new guy's having trouble with the app. Can you run? It's snowing out. So it's like, some people would find that stressful, but I think if you look at it like I'm adding direct value into my community through this networking or whatever,
Yeah.
however you want to do it. Right now, I'm not loving my mental setup for it. It's scattered. And I was doing much better when I was highly focused on Amazon and growing that, and I had the cash flow going.
Yeah.
But this is a transition phase for both of us on different levels. So I think it's a good time for us to meet. I want to take a small break in the show right now just to do plugs. So if you guys in the description down below, you'll
redo
see,
this shit.
yeah. So I actually, well, that's why I wanted to bring these up. I'm in the middle of doing a small little series where I work with ChatGPT to help me rebrand my link trees. And here's Broseph in mine. The links to all our stuff are in the description. I'm not sure. I might even change this that goes to my main channel over to my link tree for Dave Wright. Like I might change this to my link tree so then it drops on that other landing page and they can go from where they want from there. But if you want to support us, my major goal right now is if you have a TikTok account, please head over there, follow me. I'll follow you back. It's the Right Ideas one is going to be different ideas, probably around medical career stuff, side hustles, and basic things. And then I'm going to branch off into selling and building the TikTok account and store. And then I also have, and then we got to get the view count up here on YouTube so I could get remonetized, not necessarily for the money, but so that the features open back up. So we have full utilization of the YouTube features. So I have the subscriber count. It's almost over up to 5,000 again. It's just that we don't have the view count anymore. And Broseph, what are you working on here with your?
I need to delete stuff and put the eBay to the top, and then the Wright Ideas underneath of it, and then
and this is the old link, by the way.
Yeah. So I need to delete, and then
yep.
I need to revamp my page, and then also probably or maybe maybe having a picture of me and Louis J would be a prestigious business.
Yeah. Well, you can get to all our stuff over there and all our socials if you want to say hi to us.
Yeah.
And make TikTok. Sure we're not sure exactly when we're going to be going live all the time. So make sure you put on the notifications if you want to watch some of the live shows. If not, they'll all be up there. And I'm going to start doing as often as I can personal lives as well, on top of what Broseph and I are doing with working with ChatGPT live and showing how I redo my branding or whatever. So I just mentioned to you, if you're trying to fix your page, I am doing a video of how I rebranded here with ChatGPT that may be helpful to you.
Yes, I will have to check that out later as I adjust my web pages.
So now we get something that we both kind of experience that's next on the thing. Well, if you want to close up the corporate versus
and the best thing is, corporate versus local, regardless, it's better, as Dave was just saying, to conclude when it's person to person. So like that the estate sale where the guy was a numismatist, that was also a private one. That wasn't corporate at all. There was no people, there was no company, there was no overhead. It was just them selling their stuff. I got a solid sterling silver, like, anyways, whatever, for 50 cents. It was, a bunch of stuff that they, because, my wife and I who were there, both have, she and we'll go into the looking for value later, but like, with that and talking person to person, even if it's a local company, if it's still a company, there's going to still be some amount of overhead. It's still great to work with those people. They're still great. Awesome. The best thing, obviously, absolutely private, because then you can make the best deals. Anyways.
Okay, so this kind of leads us into the next part, which I wanted to go over to, because I think what you're trying to explain there is as more and more people understood reselling and it became popular online and people were jumping around and looking for ways to like get rid of the stuff that they owned that they didn't need anymore, and then find out that you can buy stuff that other people don't need and flip it. That market became saturated, and the barrier to entry to go to Goodwill, Salvation Army and stuff is very low. People know that, they drive by it, they see it, it's advertised. Whereas if you're jumping over another obstacle to start making these connections within the estate sales, which leaves the people that aren't as clever or savvy behind, because I call it barriers to entry. So every time you come up to a difficult task when you're growing your business, and most people will quit, they're like, oh, I found a problem. Oh, this doesn't work. And if you start reframing that mentally as an obstacle that you have to overcome, and then recognize it kind of like mentally, metaphorically, as hurdles on a track, every hurdle or hill or wall that you climb over, the people behind you have to get over that. And if they don't, like, everything you get stuck on, somebody else is stuck on. And if you get over it, they might not. And so you're reducing the saturation of where you're working. And so moving to the estate sales is a way to reduce that saturation, because you're leaving behind the people that aren't willing to problem solve to overcome those obstacles.
Yeah.
But with the delivery app saturations,
Yes.
A lot of people are experiencing. Chad mentioned this last week on the Saturday episode. I've experienced this myself. Is DoorDash, for instance, is a very easy, low barrier of entry. You get into a DoorDash, and when I first tried DoorDash, I was like, all right, I'm delivering food. Let's just try it. It's pizzas and whatever. I did pizza delivery was like my first job. Newspaper delivery was my first job ever, followed by pizza delivery. So you get into the food thing, and I was like, oh, this isn't bad. I was making at first it was rare that people were doing it. It was like high-end people that could afford, and they had lots of seed money. I was making $25, $30 an hour delivering food. I was like, no brainer. Now, after wear and tear or whatever, the orders that you deliver are like $4, $5. I've seen $3. So not great. And then even the shopping apps, you have to really give them customer service and go up and beyond to prove yourself. In some of those apps, what was I going to say? So and then they might not even hire you. So you found in your area that Spark, which is Walmart delivery, and Instacart, which is grocery delivery, are filled in the area, and they're not hiring any more individuals.
I'm on the wait list for both, and they will let me know when there's availability in my area. But been a few days, still haven't heard anything. And actually, I think it's been a little longer for Instacart. But I did DoorDash yesterday, made a whopping $25 over 3 hours.
Well, so I will say with any of this stuff, there's a learning curve, right? So you're going to get part of the saturation is just it hits you on multiple angles. So it lowers the base pay. So the more it's saturated, it's supply and demand. So if they have a lot of shoppers, they can lower the price, and somebody's still going to take it. Your wait times are longer. So if you're only using just DoorDash, you might be waiting 15 minutes, and then you might get a really good order. So you get $20, but you had to wait 15 minutes, and then it takes you 30 minutes to deliver it, and then you wait 30 minutes for another one. Now you made 25, which you think is good, but it's been an hour and a half technically of waiting or whatever. So that dead time. And then as more drivers come in, the incentives just get reduced for the individual drivers. And then the app knows that, and they have recently called out for this. They can't prove it one way or another, but they have what's called the desperation algorithm in some of these apps. And if they see people are taking everything, or they take like a 7 and a 6, they keep lowering it to see where you'll take a stance.
Yeah.
And apps like DoorDash are programmed similar to a video game with incentives to play with your mind. One example is there's technically not a huge downside to having a low acceptance rate, but they tell you want to keep it up above 80%. But you're an independent contractor, so they can't, you're not an employee, so they can't make you take orders.
Yeah.
But what they're doing psychologically is telling you accept more orders, keep it up above 80.
Yeah.
And when I was doing DoorDash, I finally just said, "Frigate, I got better options, whatever." Decline. And my acceptance rate was down around 40%. And I started getting $25, $30 orders. So I was like, okay, so
all right, I'm going to do that then.
Well, you just, for me, I had multiple options, so I had leverage. So when I turned on the app, if they were bad, I declined them. And if they were good, I took them.
Yeah.
When you first start and you're like, it's like, don't decline, don't get your whatever rate, we won't give you anything. You're like, well, I guess I'll take this $4 order because I don't want to get shut off, basically.
Exactly. I want to make some money today.
Yes.
It's better than nothing.
But you're actually got wear and tear on your car.
Yeah.
Gas.
I had to fill up gas anyways yesterday too. I was like, cool, fun. I spent more.
But the risk factor too. So one of the couriers that I work with was only calling me when it was snowing. And I called them up and was like, I'm not delivering only in the snow. I know you're calling me because your other drivers are calling out, but I'm not taking the extra risk unless there's extra pay. So they were like, well, we need you. And when you go east to west in New Hampshire, it takes twice as long than to go north to south because our major highways run north to south, side roads this way. So they wanted me to drive on the side roads, east to west, in the snow for minimal pay. And I said, well, first of all, east to west, I charge double. In snow, I charge double. So if you want to pay me quadruple, I'll take some stats today. But if you don't, then I don't know what to tell you. You need to like put me in the system more if you want to like incentivize me.
Yeah.
And they said, we'll get back to you. But the point being though, is I have other contracts and sources of income. There's guys in their team that probably have to take that.
So you have, on your end, you have more negotiating power because you don't have that, you're not in the desperation algorithm.
Yeah. So whether or not the actual apps have a desperation algorithm, what I wanted to touch on is in life, we can get in a desperation algorithm of scarcity and fear and how am I going to make this happen? How is this going to work? And if you start chasing the money in every direction, it'll start running away from you. You have to focus, add value, and figure out how to source it up. But it is good to do what I put together yesterday. I don't know how I'm going to put it together, but I put it together a spreadsheet of every. I don't know if it's every, but I think it's up to 140 different side hustles, apps, and login websites, the locations, the websites, the sign-in links, and stuff that I want to put together. And then I think I'm going to put it on my link tree so people can utilize that for free. And I'm working on a medical courier spreadsheet that's up over 600 now. And I'm not even halfway through the states. I'm going to do all 50 states. So I'm thinking it's going to be around 2,500 or so different medical courier places that people could call, sign up, and look to see if they have any contracts. That one is very time consuming. And I think that one's it's going to be set up exactly like the gig share one. But if you get the gig share one and see how it's set up and like it, then then you can buy for a cheap, tens of dollars for the other one. But I want to, I need to make, I need to make some money off it. Well, I don't need to make some money off it, but I don't want people to just take it and then they sell it. So I wanted to create some sort of barrier entry so that only the people that are really interested in the medical career can have a resource to get into. Anyways,
that makes sense.
I think always go. Oh, right. So once I get that list finalized and up, why don't we have you download it? Yes. And then you can slowly go through the list yourself and start seeing which ones are available in your area and which ones aren't.
Yes. Excuse me. And part of my other issue as well is I only have a 2-door car. So some of them, I like anything that requires larger trunk space or anything, or unfortunately ride sharing, I can't do at this time. And it's so funny. I felt like a boomer. I was like, oh, I'll just go to Facebook Marketplace and look for a what do you call it? A beater car. I'll just get a couple $1,000. No. Oh, forgot that doesn't exist anymore.
Well, my car's got 250K on it, but it's a well-maintained Volvo.
Yeah.
And I have, my coverage on it or whatever, but I had my insurance company come do a secondary appraisal on it based on all the work and the condition of it, because it's crazy. Like if you try to go buy the car that I have right now, it's a 2007, it would be 10K for a used 2007 Volvo with 250K on it.
Yeah.
If heaven forbid anything happened to it, the insurance company wants to give me like 4K. So it's like, I can't take that 4K and go buy an equivalent vehicle.
Exactly.
What's the point of the insurance? So so you got to be careful with that. Also, the next project, and I still got to make money while I'm doing all this like free value to build the community. But But I was also looking at home remote work spaces and trying to put together some data sources. I've been working with, I don't have a full Claude bot set up yet, but I have some AI agents that I've been doing prompts. So that's how I'm gathering this stuff, is I'm downloading CSV files and database stuff. And then I'm having this scrape and then go check the sites and click it and do the services and pull it back to me. So as I slowly have that working in the background, I'll have that. And then I want to try it for remote jobs. So people that can't drive or can't do it could call up and train. There's like, I saw some jobs for $24 an hour, roughly, depending on how fast you work. Because you get like a syllabus of stuff that needs to be done by that day. And they think that it's going to take about 8 hours. And you're communicating back and forth with AI to train it. But if you finished in 6, you still get the day rate. But if it takes you 10, you still get the day rate. But there's some remote jobs where you're not getting wear and tear gas. You're waking up in your pajamas, you're hanging out with your cat, and you're getting paid.
Yes.
To do this. So I like jobs. Sorry to keep going. Be so talking about like Amazon Flex, for example, will say $99 for a 4-hour block, right? And when I used to do Amazon Flex, I could get that block done in 2.5 hours. So they're giving you the price and the block based on their lowest common denominator. So if you excel and it's a flat rate, you know what I mean? You can go out and they're telling you this is going to take roughly 4 hours and you're going to make whatever. So you're like, oh, it's $22 an hour. But if you're good, fast, persistent, put your head down and know how to organize well, a lot of this stuff you can get done quicker. So I'm wondering if a high skilled individual that was mentally able to get could take 2 remote training AI jobs and get their 8-hour shift done in 4 hours and start their second one and get that done in 4 hours, they'd be working 2 remote jobs technically because they're ahead of the curve the way that they work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You got anything else you want to add to that? Because I wanted to go on to you talking about how you started to put together to recognize the value in the items.
Oh yeah. We can get into that
online. So that's the next thing that I have here is how you well, first of all, when you first start, you don't recognize that there's a time cost, how long it's going to go take you to get this stuff, package, ship it, how to ship it, the shipping costs, the platform fees, and then what items are like seasonal or hype based items that are, or what items are perpetually going to sell. So how did you kind of figure out over the past 3 weeks what to buy, how to value it, and how to calculate your fees going into it blind?
So yeah, there's AI is great to continue with that. Google Lens, the eBay, camera, which, they're not all the time completely accurate, but
okay. So walk me through this though. So what do you do?
So what I do is I, pop my phone open, go to Google. Typically, actually, what I do first, if it's something that isn't as distinct, if it's something that which it's kind of a vibe thing, if I look at it, I'm like, oh, this looks like a distinct thing. Then I meet
from Amazon selling where I walk by and it's like, I haven't seen this before. I got a feeling.
Yeah.
I've been in the store before. I haven't seen. I got a feeling this is something new and rare.
Yeah, if it's distinct, then sometimes I do just go straight to the eBay app, and then when you go to the eBay app, let me just pop it open real quick. You can
let me see if I still have eBay on my phone.
When you go to search, there's search on eBay right up there. There's the microphone. You can voice search, and you can also picture search right there. Oh, there. Yeah, you can see it.
Okay.
Right there. You can picture search. Just turn the camera on, and then let me hit that, and then ta-da, look, it's me. You just pop the camera on, and then you can take a picture, whatever. Like I said, if I get the vibe like something is distinct, like the brand, for example, is very obvious and legible, or it's something with a distinct pattern or something, whatever. I'll go directly to the eBay app, take a picture of it, to AI search it, and then usually it pops up with exactly what the thing is. And then in cases where it's not as distinct, I instead go to Google and instead use Google Lens to look up the thing, because then not only does it pop up with similar images, but then it'll give an AI just a written description of what it thinks it is. And then sometimes then if it says for example, I take a picture of some leather boots, and it says, oh, these are such and such brand, and then I'm like, it says actually it says it's this other brand on the inside of the boots where you can't see it. It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That means that it's these ones due to the color on the outside and the pattern of this this leather here. This means that these are the so and so such and such skin boots. And so it's able to give, and then you can take that, look that up, cross-reference that, make sure that Google's being accurate, because obviously still AI all the time isn't absolutely perfect, but nowadays for product identifications, a lot of times it is. So so that's been
I'm
really
listening,
helpful.
but I'm
No
also
worries.
downloading and setting up the app in real time so I can try this as a novice live on air.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there's there's that. So that's part of the recognizing value. But also what you want to do is, after you find the product, and this is something that I'm basically kind of going over a Paul went over the other week, but he you look it up specifically on eBay, and then like if it's for example, I got a bunch of Talbot's women's jackets for $1 at the at that dollar thrift store I was talking about, the local one.
Yeah.
And so when I look those up, I'm looking up Talbot's petite, the size, the color, the whatever you call it, the material, and then even the cut, something that if it says that, I'll be like, all right, I don't know what this means, but I'm putting it in here.
Yep.
And then you search that on eBay, and then you see, okay, this has 500 products listed. Then you go to the bar to the search filters, and then you scroll down, click sold, to see how many have been sold.
Yep.
And then you compare that number, be like, all right, does it sell? Will it sell? Because even to see the sell-through rate as well.
If you guys go back to
that one
2 Saturdays ago, 10 days ago, our episode with Paul, we did that on the 14th.
Yes.
He explained you'll go in and you'll put an item. So I got an item here. It is the Art of Peace. This is just something I had on my desk, and I got the eBay app ready to go now. So I'm just going to scan this real quick, and took a picture of it and let it see if it can find it. It did. It found the book pretty quickly from a picture.
Sick.
So now I want to go on to my filters. Oh, so so this has 11 million search results right now just to start. And let me put this full screen. So we're just going to go through what you just said. So at the bottom there, you can say it's got 11 million search results.
And I will say, doing it with the the image search, sometimes doesn't those 11 million maybe aren't that number could be a little inflated. So it could be a little high because of it could be books that are that size. It could be books with the same image on the cover that are full size, something like,
Yeah, so we're going to go through now, and we're going to start. If you can see at the top here, it's got a scroll list of filters. So the number one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and I'm going to switch the filter here on my phone to used. And that drops it to 6.7 million. This is a bad way to show you guys. And then I'm going to go over to sold items. And sold still drops it down to 1.2 million. But as we start going there, I can drop it down further and further to see. But basically, this is it said the last time that this sold was way back on January 9th. And a pre-owned paperback copy of this book here, for some reason, sold for I mean, it was probably in better condition than this, but it sold for $19.72 pre-owned, plus $6 in shipping. And then they're all over the road. It was a one for $5 with $5 shipping, another one for $3.50 with $5 shipping. This one sold for $6.66. This one sold for $6.40. So they're definitely selling. If you were to find that, anyways. So that's basically what you're doing in store, even with like pieces of clothing and stuff, is you can just kind of get an idea, even from a screenshot. I mean, even from a photo.
Yeah, you can get, and sometimes if you want like for something like a book, you can get a general idea like that. If or for or like a general shirt or something, but if you want to get something very specific, then you will want to enter the words themselves into Google, or sorry, into the eBay search bar, because that's going to pin it down the most specifically. But yes, this, like, at a glance, these AI tools make it so easy to just be like, I can look at this real quick and kind of judge, is this worth pursuing any further? Also, because like you were alluded to earlier, your time is money as well. So I don't want to spend a bunch of time. I found myself at like the, at those, the more corporate thrift stores, kind of just spending a lot of time looking up very specific things and being like, okay, no, not worth it. And then having to move on to the other thing. Yeah. Whereas this, both the estate sale that was privately owned, where I kind of just bought a couple lots of jewelry that of costume jewelry that ended up being some antiques and some stuff that, I mean, I already got my money back of the $20 I bought for the bag by selling a little brooch on eBay for $22. So, nice. And I have a bunch of stuff in there that was actual sterling silver as well that is going to sell even anyways, but I digress. But also the point being is, the buying bulk stuff and then the bulk clothes for $1, I could be like, oh, the brand Talbot, I know that's good. Let me just grab all of these. They're $1. I bought 5 of them. Whereas a Talbot's jacket at Goodwill would have been, like $10 to buy. So now I have a bunch of stuff that I can find the value of. And here's, I guess kind of to bring all of those things around, all the points I had talked about around as, my strategy right now is, obviously what people aim for, buy low, sell high, except buy low and buy very low at $1 or less and sell at maybe not super high, but something that will sell on eBay. I have those jackets listed for like, I don't know, $10, which, they recommended, 15 to 20. I was like, I wanted to sell these
fees and stuff, though. That's going to be profitable.
Oh yeah, exactly. Cause I also calculated, that's the other thing. You can calculate your shipping ahead of time, but then that's another thing Paul mentioned, set your own flat rate shipping that's above, the estimated shipping just a little bit so that you cover your ass. Yeah. But yeah, it's so yeah.
So I have some familiarity with doing this in scale too. So when you first start Amazon, you can do what's called Amazon. Usually Amazon selling online after you get a free account. And with the free account, anything you sell, there's an extra 99-cent fee tacked on. So once and a paid account is $39.99. So once you start selling 40 items a month, you move to the pro thing because you're saving money on Amazon. But you get the seller app with that, which is the Amazon seller app. It's the same thing you scan. The difference is you'll get a rating, a number of units to sell monthly, and the number of sellers on that listing. So I scan an item that costs $1. It tells me it sells for 20, and that I'm going to make $10 after fees. It sells 100 a month. There's 10 other people selling it. There's 9 other people selling it. I'll be number 10. So I can sell 10 a month. So if I'm at the store and there's 100 of them, I only want to buy 10. And then check it out in a month and then go buy back in month 10. So when you first start going to a store and you start scanning, you're like, oh, there's nothing here. I'm going to go broke. I'm going to live by the river in a van. And as time goes on, there's certain stores that I would go in and I knew every item on every shelf, what it sold for, what I could get for it, if I was ungated so that I could sell it. And so when I would go with the carriage to those stores and I would walk, I'd be like, no, oh, they have more of these. Let me scan, see the price. Let me see the ranking. It's still good. I'll buy X amount. Oh, this is something I've never seen before. And once you find a niche, right? So if you have no niche and no specialties or whatever, if you go out and you start looking at stuff and then you say, okay, I found this like lotion, this, by Aveeno. Oh, I got one. I was just out scanning a couple of years back, right there before the pandemic or after the pandemic. And there was this place called Ocean Potion sun lotion. There was this, it was made in the 1970s. It was super popular. Everybody loved it, but they went out of business during the pandemic. And it was a very sad story. Well, I got in touch with the owner of Ocean State Job Lot because he bought them out. He bought all their stuff and was putting in their store.
Cow.
And so he had this famous lotion that everybody loves selling for $2.50 in store. And they were selling for $35 online. And a 2-pack was selling for $64.99.
Holy cow.
I was just going into stores, buying it. I talked to him. I ended up buying the stuff. And I would literally I would take it off the shelf, put it in my cart. Before I could even go buy it, it was selling on my phone. I would have to go home, pack it, ship it out, and then go to another store and do the same thing.
Holy cow.
And I was shipping out 100 units a day. And I'm like, this is the greatest job in life. I'm so glad I quit my job. So when you hit a hot product, you can go. Now, eventually they ran out of stock and people will be like, oh, you were price gouging. If I could tell you the amount of thank yous I got from people that are like, I'll buy 20 of them. Can you give me a discount? I'll buy 30 because they were very loyal to this brand and they couldn't get it anymore. And so what they were paying for was the service of me finding a rare item that it
was a finder's fee.
That they wanted. Another huge product for me was Christmas 2022. I went in and I found these slippers by Dockers, and they were selling for $9.99 in the store. They cost $9.99 to process, and they sold for $29.99 on Amazon, and they sold something like 2,000 units a month. So I put a couple of them on there. They cost me $9. They sold for $30. After I paid fees, I was making $10. So it was 100% profit. And I couldn't, if I was go to the store, I would buy 10 of them. I would list them while I was in store. They would sell before I even checked out for Christmas. I literally go home, pack them, shipping. My entire living room, once I got in touch with the local, I went and talked to the local manager. I said, hey, I'll buy all these that you have in stock. And if you can call your warehouse in Kingston, Rhode Island, I'll buy whatever they have. He said, okay. They shipped them all up. First time I filled my SUV to the point where they were all over the dash and everything. Second time I got a box truck. My whole living room was filled with them. And I had to put a 5-day handling time on them because I couldn't keep up with the amount of orders. I would just wake up every morning and just put them in the plastic wrap, put them in the second thing, go like print the label, stack it, print the label, stack it. And then I would fill the whole back of my car, go to the post office. The guy was there. We'd come out with bins
Yeah,
with
with
me.
the
We put them
yeah.
in there, and then I would go home and do it all over again.
Holy
And I was
cow.
like, "This is the best job." Now, people have caught on to that stuff now,
Yeah.
and so many people are doing it, it's hard to find items like that. But when you can find a niche like that with a demand, and basically the demand for that was doctors had changed their marketing. They switched it from the box to a open paper hanger. And
Yeah.
so they sold all those slippers at a discount to get rid of them because they didn't want to use, they didn't want them anymore. And so people were buying the same exact slippers in a different marketing pack,
Yeah.
and they were sold to me cheaper than Dockers was selling it to Walmart.
That's insane.
So it's like, yeah, so if you can, well, it was a
That's
closeout deal.
great.
It's basically a closeout deal, and you can find these in different areas. But anyways, the point being, I can still go into that store in my area and walk the aisles, and you start learning. So when you first go in and start scanning, you'll recognize, like you'll say, "This takes forever. I'm not making any money."
Yeah.
And especially with Amazon, where you can repeat buy, don't think of it as like I'm scanning one shirt to make $10. Think of it as, if I find one item that I become familiar with, every time I see that item is money.
That's yes. And that's also what I've been running into as well, because the things that you recognize start popping up more again. It's like the purple elephant thing, you know,
Yeah.
you think of it as well, I guess that's not really I there's
Like
some type
whatever
of
you think
metaphor that
about, you
applies.
focus on. Yeah, like
Yeah, yeah.
once you're gonna go buy, you say, "Oh, I think I'm gonna go buy a red truck," and then you go for a
Yes.
ride. Your
That's it. That's the
brain
one I'm thinking about. Yes.
sees all red trucks everywhere. So once you know,
Yes.
yeah, and so you can get blindsided too. So like if you start going to,
Got my
like if you and
metaphors
me
mixed up.
both went into Goodwill together, and we were gonna fill our carts, I know you would head towards the clothes. I would go right to the video games, then to the books, and then the
Yeah.
toys
Yeah, and
and
then
the
I'd
board
be in the
games.
knickknacks looking for silver. I'd be looking at the,
Yeah.
looking at this thing and be like, "Wait, this filigree thing this is a little more ornate. This seems to be older than, $2. Wow, $100.
Yeah, so the
That's where
thing
I'd
is,
be.
yeah, and I would probably walk right by money in the store that you know is
Yeah,
profitable, and I would,
vice
and you would
versa.
vice versa, because once you have the understanding not only of what to look for, what to price it, but where to sell it. So, like,
Yes.
as I would go into Goodwill and scan stuff, and I was like, "Oh, this will sell good used on Amazon," because you can sell used products on Amazon. Um, but it wouldn't sell on eBay. Or I said, "Oh, I could sell these in a lot, like
Yeah. Yeah,
a
yes.
wholesale bundle of on eBay, but I couldn't sell them like that on
On
Amazon."
Amazon. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so,
Yeah.
or um, even during the snowstorm recently, I saw a guy at Home Depot buying a bunch of electric shovels,
Yeah.
and I knew right away, oh, he got a deal on those, and he's putting them on Facebook Marketplace, or he's reselling them. I highly doubt they're going to his fleet.
Yeah.
And so, like, once you kind of know how to like flip stuff, you know where to buy it, how to buy it, and where to sell it. Um, it becomes very, the knowledge it becomes very profitable.
Yes.
We're about 10 minutes in. I wanted to just highlight a couple of things that we have here in the chat. So I have experienced this as well. So this is going back to the DoorDash stuff, saying that Indian had an acceptance rate of 7%, and he was still making a good hourly as he did things. And
Okay. I'm
once
gonna
you
be
like
picky
learn
here.
the app and learn, like, I've been doing Instacart since it started, and so I can almost look at an item, look at a thing, and know, barring any incidents, how much I'm going to make.
Yeah.
Same with like with Amazon Flex, I started that. I don't really use those apps as much anymore, but you kind of get a feel for it. And then I've heard this with Roadie, Instacart, and DoorDash, is if it's saying like you were like, so for instance, it was snowing the other day, and I picked up a Instacart order coming back in my drive from the medical drop off, and the snow was so bad that I was running behind. And it says you have to get there in 5 minutes, and I was 30 minutes away. So a new person will typically go in to the app and say, "Oh, I have to cancel because of car problems or whatever."
Yeah.
If you just let it run out typically and they take it away from you, but your nav system's like heading in the direction, you typically don't get penalized when you let it run out. So this is what you need to understand about the DoorDash is when it comes up and it says you have 30 seconds to decide, do you want this order? Don't hit the decline button up top. Just let it run down and don't accept it. And that supposedly won't impact your acceptance rate as much. So,
well, that was the first one I got yesterday was for $2.50, and I just let that bitch run out because I was like, and then because I was like, yeah, it's $2.50. I'm not doing that.
It's literally, it's so insane. I don't even know.
And then I immediately got more offers, like 30 minutes later. So
yeah, I'm gonna pull one up here. I was so
they weren't super high either, but
Chad and I always go back and forth because him and me are been doing this for a while. So I got this one the other day. Let me go full screen. This is they want me to go get only 8 items and drive 6.1 miles of grocery shopping plus checkout and everything. And they were going to pay $4.93. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, perfectly. Yep.
So I just took a screenshot of it and I sent it to Chad and I was like, I might just take this order just so I could go to the customer's house and beat their ass. Because it's like, and I know it's not them either too, because they're paying higher fees at the grocery store. So something at the grocery store has gone up in price with inflation.
Yeah.
For the service, they're also paying more per item. And then they're paying a membership fee or whatever. Our gas is going up. Our wear and tear is going up. But the crazy thing is with that order there and the one that you're talking about, I know the system's kicking it out, but also somebody's got to be taking those or they would be increasing the price. Yeah. So somebody's pretty much like, when they used to strike and like they would get mad at the scabs for breaking.
Yes.
It's like somebody is so desperate out there that they're like, okay, I need $4.
I'll take a penny.
I'll take $4.50 for going to do this thing. So here's one thing I want to say though. I got to close this up is, so with Instacart, DoorDash, and all these apps, right? You typically don't need to be like a platinum member, but for Instacart especially, they have gold, platinum, and diamond. And if you do 20 orders within a certain amount, you get gold. And what that does is it lets you see all the orders ahead of time. It puts you on a priority list. That's almost a necessity with any of these apps, whether it's Roadie, Instacart, Spark, whatever. Do the minimum amount of orders it takes to get you to that tier, because it does make a huge difference on the orders that you receive, because it's like the fly-by-night person based on somebody they trust. They want to be able to see that you can shop an order, deliver an order, not lose the order, not eat the food, that it's not cold, find a house, do it in timely manner before they give you the responsibility. And so I noticed a huge difference between having the gold on Instacart and not having the gold on Instacart. Yesterday, I did the medical courier stuff, which totaled a little under $300. And then I did an additional $88 in grocery delivery within 2 shops on the way in the snow. So it was a decent thing. And I didn't leave. I did get back at that was about 9.5 hours of driving around and negotiating and talking to drop off people and going to the grocery store. But it's not sustainable.
Yes.
So, but I like to, for one, I want to keep my referral thing. If anybody wants to try Instacart in their area, my referral link is in the thing. And then if you have questions or concerns, we can answer them live here in the air for you or whatever and help you out along the way. But It's the same thing with DoorDash. There's a certain level in DoorDash. So what I was going to say is in the morning when I wake up, right, to kind of get in their algorithm, I'll look at things. I'll be like, that's too low. That's too low. That's too low. I'm not going to go do that. But if I'm in my house and I haven't even ventured out yet, sometimes I will just take one that's not very profitable at the main grocery store near my house that's towards the pharmacy. And I'll just do
Just
it just to like be like, hey, I'm out shopping. And especially when I went up the other day and I was in Mount Pelion, Vermont, doing my last drop off, and it's the competition up there is very, very low. And I look in my app, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go get lunch at this grocery store, so I'm gonna do this $11 order. I grabbed this $11 order and shopped it while I was doing my shop because I was like, I'm getting paid $11 to do my grocery shopping, and the drop off is literally right up the street. When I was there, they added a second order to it. And then I saw some expensive orders pop up for like 45, $50 in the app at that same store. So I did that one, and the competition's so low, they were still in the app. So I picked the $45 one up, did that. Then the 52 was driving a little bit further than I wanted to, but it was heading me back south to home. So I picked that one up. And so I was able to very quickly, I think I made 45, maybe close to $50 an hour after tips doing that extra work there.
At that same grocery store.
At that same grocery store. But it wouldn't have been profitable for me to drive up there 2 hours or an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I just happened to be up there because I had the medical route that went up there.
Yeah.
I'm in a panic mode though recently, so I will end it. I'm just going to do a little oversharing here. Is one of the things that I have is I like being out of the house, out and about. I like shopping and meeting people, and I like helping the medical pharmacy people that I drop off and talking to the cancer patients and helping them or whatever. I feel like I'm wasting my life away because it's not, I know that there's other things that I can do that are more profitable that I'm ignoring.
Yeah.
So I'm going to work this week. I'm going to get back into some of my books, on management and stuff, time management or whatever. And so going forward, I'm going to probably do some videos on time management for income versus time management for quality of life, and not to get all woo woo, but like get a life work balance, but not like in a woo woo way, more of like, how do you prioritize the amount of money you want to make versus the quality of life you want to have?
I mean, that's ultimately the like, if I'm being honest, not to take this too long, but that's the calculation that led me to leaving my old job. It was the work-life balance. I was like, again, without going into too much detail, that's exactly what it was.
Yep.
They when I started the job, they led with, oh yeah, we have it. And then as it got more corporate, it was like, yeah, no, we focus on production here. And so, and so that's been, you need that to not go, insane. I know that personally.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Well, I don't know. I like being out of the house.
Exactly.
Vermont and New Hampshire are very fun, different than Massachusetts. So like that, I'm at this same Shaw's, every other day after I do my medical route, to the point where there's a young lady that works there named Julie that works the self-checkout, and she has to come over to approve the order because I self-scan it, but then I don't pay cash. I use a special scan out app, but the store has to approve the Instacart thing. So the service thing comes up. And so we're at a first name basis now. When I walk, like when I go to the thing, and she's like, "Oh, you're here to cause trouble, Dave." And I was like, "Look, I just want to deliver groceries so fine families can get some food in the state of Vermont, whatever." And so like when I do that, I don't feel like I'm working and I'm adding value to my community. I'm making money. But I know that there's more value that I can add to my community. But when I get into a point where I'm making more money, which should be more value, my quality of emotional life goes down. I'm much more happy delivering those groceries to that person and talking to Julie at the grocery store and joking around than I am rushing around moving slippers.
Yes.
And,
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
moving lotion, so.
Yeah. Listing, finding, comparing prices. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, I don't hate it. It's definitely better than sitting in a cubicle, so I don't wanna complain, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we met each other because of it, and we're gonna meet more people because of it, and we're gonna hopefully free more people from a 9 to 5 with this channel as it grows. But, uh, it's a thing that we're all trying to navigate in life, and I haven't really pinpointed it yet, and, maybe you never can because it's a moving target.
Yeah.
Happiness is a resource that you farm. It's not a place. It's not a
Not a
destination
destination.
that
Yeah.
you land at. So yeah. All right. I think that's. I'm going to close it down. So to recap, the biggest takeaways here is just we want to direct people over to our link trees, and if you guys can subscribe and share, if you think anybody will find this, or if you want to try to join us in building your TikTok accounts, follow us over there, and then just message us. Hey, it's me from what I watched the Wright Ideas YouTube channel. I'm also interested in getting into TikTok Shop and affiliate and try to live stream to make money from affiliate marketing and whatever. I can't talk about it, but I've been in talks with a couple of brands that are putting some shops on, uh, putting their product on TikTok Shop, and they'd be willing maybe to work with some of the fan base in advertising their property. So, I mean,
The one
their shop.
I remember you had mentioned focusing on U.S. companies to create value over the.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean it. I guess it's a good idea. For me, I wish it was just all merit based, where we take the best products from the best people. And before the economy was so controlled financially, like income, you didn't really need to like search out the moral aspect of it. The profit was kind of the morality because it
Yes.
was the merit based. Now that the monetary system is so manipulated, and the financial system and the economy of import export is, you kind of got to do your own digging.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to do local or American made small product launches and show them how to go global instead of finding corporate products that are already being advertised and sold globally and trying to middleman them.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that would be a lot more fulfilling. If I did that long enough and somebody else did that long enough, we could get it back to a more decentralized place where individuals now can create, launch, and sell a product through these platforms with this, almost equal to the big corporations. Where if you went back, even 5 years ago, that wasn't possible. You know what I mean? Like to try to
Yeah.
compete. The best you can
Exactly.
think
Yeah.
of is let me get this company big, and somebody will buy me out.
Yeah. Then maybe I'll get money because of getting bought out by a bigger company. That's how. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You have anything you'd like to share with anybody, or takeaways? Or my goal this week is I'm going to get on TikTok. I got an idea to make some videos and some content for my spreadsheets. I'm going to promote that, and I'm going to see if I can get. I'm not going to shoot for a particular amount of followers, but I want to grow my follower count. Just proof of concept. I want to try this strategy, see if the strategy works. And if the strategy does work, put more energy and resources towards building that TikTok account so I could start doing the affiliate stuff.
Same.
Same.
I'm gonna. I've got a bunch more coins that I got kind of put in the little cardboard plastic stuff. I'm gonna do some more videos just of some cool coins.
Yeah.
And hopefully just get in the algorithm, do the thing like I was saying yesterday. Just don't overthink it, because without digressing, I overthink things. So just don't overthink it. Make the TikTok videos, and then to also continue to focus on this reselling, because I'm gonna be honest, I also have a lot of clothes that I still need to list that I got a trash bag full from that place. So I've got my work cut out for me, and then as well as focus on these DoorDash, maybe some other delivery apps. If I can check out your list, see what's up, and then
Yeah, I don't know when I'll be able to get the list out. I have to start focusing better because I have more branches than roots right now, and the tree is going to collapse if I don't start digging some roots
and start pruning a bit.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, everybody, thanks for joining us. And Saturday, you want to do something? You want to do a live stream on Saturday? Just you and me?
I'll be around.
We'll do noon time on Saturday, and we'll catch up. And hopefully, I got some of the TikTok stuff going on.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Perfect. All right.
Sir.
Thanks everybody for joining.